Hello everyone, this is your stimulus update for Tuesday, June 16th. And today I'm going to be talking about those of you that are waiting on your first stimulus payment, as well as going over the second stimulus payment and the potential for what it might be, how much it might be, and what's being talked about on the second stimulus payment right now. If you have not subscribed to my channel already, my name is Justin and I do daily stimulus updates. So go ahead and subscribe to my channel now and be sure to hit the notification bell so that you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. So I'm going to talk about, first of all, the second stimulus proposals and packages that are out there. There are kind of three camps right now that are they're not really going back and forth with each other, but there are three different camps on how much the next stimulus proposal or package should be. And the first one is the House of Representatives. They've already submitted the HEROES Act and actually approved the HEROES Act last May, or back in May. The HEROES Act included $1,200 stimulus payments for individuals and included $1,200 for each child dependent that was in a family. And in addition to that, those that are dependents and claimed as dependents would actually receive a $1,200 payment under the HEROES Act, unlike the first $1,200 payment that went out from the CARES Act. So that's the House's proposal, and their entire package was around $3 trillion, actually over $3 trillion. The Trump administration, on the other hand, has been really talking a lot more recently about the next stimulus package and the fact that there will be a next stimulus package. Even as recently as a week or two ago, I wasn't even confident that there would be a second stimulus package, but my tune has changed, and that's mostly because of what's coming out from the Trump administration. So the Trump administration has recently said, and it was Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, he said last week that the Trump administration is very seriously considering another round of stimulus. President Trump himself has basically come out and said there will be another stimulus package. He didn't say specifically that there would be payments for individuals, but that's on the table and that's one of the options. His economic advisor also came out and said that his economic advisor, Peter Navarro, said that the president is looking for a package of at least $2 trillion. So they're looking at a package that's not maybe quite as high as the HEROES Act, but still over $2 trillion. That's a huge number. And the things that they're looking at specifically are payroll tax deductions for those that are working, incentives to get people to go on vacations to help out those destinations that have been hurt so bad because people aren't traveling and aren't going on vacations. And they're also making a big push for bringing jobs back to America and manufacturing in particular, bringing manufacturing jobs back to America. And I think they're also considering payments directly to individuals. So the Trump administration is looking at potentially over or around $2 trillion and potentially a little over $2 trillion for the next round of stimulus. And that's great news that, first of all, that they're looking at a package that's that big, but also that they seem so positive or so like they seem like they're actually really leaning towards another stimulus proposal or stimulus package. That's really big news, and that's great news for those of you that are wondering about a second stimulus proposal. So the third camp is the Senate, and they're the ones that are kind of dragging their feet and kind of have said, let's take a wait and see approach to see how this economic recovery is going and everything else. They have put a number, and it was Mitch McConnell that put this number out. He said, this was a couple weeks ago, he said the next stimulus package should be less than $1 trillion. So we have the House that said $3 trillion, We have President Trump and his administration that are coming in at about $2 million, and the Senate is coming in at $1 trillion. So my guess is the next stimulus package would be somewhere in the middle, probably closer to what the Trump administration has asked for. $2 trillion is a huge amount of money. If $3 trillion were the number, and every single individual got money directly from that $3 trillion, that would be $15,000 per person. That's not happening. They're not sending $15,000 checks to every single person. However, that amount, the $3 trillion and the $2 trillion, means there is a very good chance that there will be checks coming to individuals again. Whether that's $1,200 or $2,000 or whatever else it may be, most likely it's going to be a one-time payment again. It's not going to be a monthly payment like some of the proposals in the House have been. But my guess is it's probably going to be a one-time payment if it happens. And the chances of it happening seem to be really good right now. So, the Senate has been talking about not even discussing this next stimulus package until July. Well, the biggest problem with that is, first of all, July is a couple weeks away still, and the second biggest problem, and maybe even the biggest problem, is they take a recess in the first part of July, July 3rd through July 17th. So let me get this straight. Americans are hurting. People are trying to figure out how they're going to pay for food, pay for their bills, pay their rent, everything else. And you're going to go on recess for 2 weeks? Do you really think that's the best idea? Obviously, this is something they do every year. But you would think that there's kind of extenuating circumstances right now, and this is kind of a big deal to get a stimulus package done. There are millions of Americans that are still trying to figure out just how to feed their family, just how to pay for their rent and everything else. And the Senate just says, we're going to go on a 2-week vacation the 1st of July, and we're not even going to discuss the next stimulus package. I think it's insane that they do that. I wish every American could get 2 weeks off in July and to say, hey, here's 2 weeks paid off for July, every single July, from the 3rd to the 17th or whatever the dates are. Yeah, I think the Senate and the way they're maybe not acting, but the way they are right now, it's pretty ridiculous that they're taking so long and they're just dragging their feet. And I understand the idea of a wait and see approach. They don't want to just spend money to spend money. However, there are millions of Americans, even if they received their first stimulus payment, that are trying to figure out just how to live and just how to scrape by. So that's it for the second stimulus package. But let's talk about the first stimulus package, and for those of you that still haven't received your first stimulus, because most of my viewers fall into this camp. You haven't received your first stimulus package, and the $1,200 is something you're still waiting for. So many of you have actually received a payment date on the Get My Payment tool, and that's in the past. Well, the IRS has given a little bit more new guidance on this, and if you've received a payment date and it's in the past, and you still haven't received your payment, here are some things you can do. Well, the first thing that they suggest is to call the IRS. And calling the IRS, as I think most of you know, especially if you've tried calling the IRS, it's insane and it takes forever. The IRS does not have enough people to field the calls that are coming in. And even on their website, they specifically say, please be advised that you may experience long wait times or recorded assistance due to limited staffing. Yeah, you think? Yeah, the wait times have been ridiculous, and the other problem is when people actually talk to a representative, a lot of the times that representative can't even help them. So, unfortunately, if you've received a payment date and that payment date is in the past, the IRS says, if it has been more than 5 days since the scheduled direct deposit date, or more than 4 weeks since it was mailed by check, 6 weeks if you have a forwarding address on file with the local post office, 9 weeks if you have a foreign address. You should initiate a trace on your payment by calling the IRS at our favorite number, 1-800-919-9835. Or you may submit Form 3911. Well, Form 3911 would have to be mailed in. So not only would it take the time that you mail it in, but then you would also have to wait for the IRS to get it, process it, and everything else. So if you've received a payment date that is in the past, or it said they sent your check and it's been more than 4 weeks since they mailed you a check, you need to call the IRS. I know. I'm sorry, there's not much else you can do. But calling the IRS and getting some answers on where your check is your best bet. They can initiate a trace. They can try and figure out where that went and what happened to your check. If your payment date passed and you received, and it said it was a direct deposit, you probably should contact them and get a trace. If it was a direct deposit and it was sent into an account you don't recognize, it's going to be sent back to the IRS. The IRS will then reprocess it and send you a paper check or an EIP debit card. So keep checking the Get My Payment tool. That will actually update if they reprocess your check with the new check information. So if they're going to send you a paper check, even though they had already said that they sent it direct deposit, they'll update the Get My Payment tool, and it will show your updated information that the paper check was mailed on this day. So that's for those of you that received a mailing date or a paper or a direct deposit date and still haven't received your check. So in addition, if you received your stimulus payment and it was not the correct amount, the good news is the IRS has some information for you. The bad news is basically they said the IRS is not able to correct incorrect amounts. However, you should receive a letter. It's Notice 1444 regarding your stimulus payment. If you receive that and your payment was not the full $1,200, then what you need to do is you need to hold on to that notice, keep the notice to 1444, and you need to file taxes in 2021 for the 2020 tax year. When you file taxes, you will be able to claim whatever they did not give you in your stimulus payment this time. So you will be able to claim the amount that was missing unless that amount was taken for back child support. If your amount was if some of that $1,200 or all of the $1,200 was taken because of back child support, then you will not be receiving any of that back, unfortunately. So that's my stimulus update for today. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Click that notification bell so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload a new video. And hit the like button so that YouTube will share this video with others. And thank you once again. I really appreciate it. I know this has been such a fiasco. It is insane to me that the IRS is still dragging their feet and hasn't even sent out their payments to millions of Americans. I know you guys are hurting. I know it's been a struggle, and that so many of you are just trying to scrape by. And I'm so sorry for that, and I'm sorry that it's taking so long. Thank you once again, and I will talk to you again soon.